The day went to the odds-on favourite Magic Days. We've got an even money favourite in the second race, another maiden hurdle, and it is Capadano for the Willie Mullins team, owned by JP McManus and Mark Walsh riding, wearing a sporting a tongue tie for the first time. They've done point 2 to 1, 11 to 2 was Dale Park, drop him in 10s, 14s, Quirt Evans, Marla's $1.25s, 40s, and bigger the rest to Capadano. Even money to take the second from Clonmel. Here's Kevin.
Yes, many thanks, Angus. There's a favourite Capadona, even money favourite, tongue strap on for the first time, and finished third here in an amateur maiden hurdle. Well touted before he made his debut here, over 2-3, drops back 3 furlongs to 2 miles today, Don. And I think it was Sam Collins that won it that day, was it? But a smart filly, Elsie's a lady, was back in second. She'd won 2 bumpers, and unfortunately Elsie's a lady got hurt this day from Paul Fahy's yard.
Yeah, well, you can see Capitano's travelled well into the race, Kevin, as you say. Alicia Sedati is just outside him, and it looks between the two of them, but all the while Sam Curling's mare, but Pete Bell is making ground towards the near side. The three of them jumping together, and Capitano just comes under pressure there. Patrick Mullins rode him that day. It was a qualified riders race, and yeah, he just, I suppose, you know, it's his first run in a while, first run for Willie Mullins since his arrival from France, first run of any kind for over a year, so he probably just got tired inside the final furlong from that beat the bell. She kept on well to win nicely, and she went and ran in the Grade 2 race at Limerick behind Farouk Delaine. She was really well beaten by Farouk Delaine, but she did finish 4th behind him. But you'd expect that Capadano would come on for that run.
There's a second favourite, Dunboyne. He's a fine looking horse, isn't he? Keith Donoghue on board, and his first run on the rules, he was obviously well beat, front by a very, very good horse in Bob Ollinger.
Yeah, look, he was well beaten. I suppose two ways to look at it. He was really well beaten by Bob Ollinger, but Bob Ollinger is now, I think he's second favourite now for the Ballybough hurdle after winning the Grade 1 Lawrence in this race. And you can see here Bob Ollinger just cruising away in front there under Rachel Blackmore in their off-court colours for Henry de Bromhead. But Dunboyne, he's kept on well, and he kind of challenged Bob Ollinger. He's the only one really to get up close to him, and he's done well to get as close as he did, and even given that he did run up to try and challenge him, he still kept on well enough to finish second, with Galloway Goldie behind him there in third. So it was a good run. Look, Bob Ollinger's winning doing handsprings, so he's just in a different grade, but he's a Grade 1 horse. He's now a Grade 1 winner, so you can't really take him into consideration in the context of Dunboyne in this race. So the fact that he kept on well enough to beat all the others, and you know, beat them well. There's a fair gap there between him and the third horse, and that was his first run for Gordon Elliott. He was a point-to-point winner for Sean Doyle, so you'd expect that he would progress from that run as well, his first run over hurdles. So plenty to like about Dunboyne.
Yes, indeed. Of the rest, and Sam Curling, who of course supplied the winner when Capadona was third in his Irish debut. He's represented by Wasdale Park, and that was running up to Carol's Cottage of Philip Fenton's over 2-3 at Limerick back on the 1st of December.
He was, yeah, and he Carol's Cottage and Hardwired got into a little bit of a tussle in front, and Hardwired then faded. Hardwired didn't run badly yesterday, and you say nothing's there, so point just down. But Wasdale Park made ground then from the main pack and moved up to challenge Carol's Cottage. Carol's Cottage stayed on well and repelled him, and he kind of hung a wee bit to his right in behind, which wasn't ideal, but it was only his second run over hurdles, so probably his inexperience was telling, and it was very testing ground that day at Limerick, as we mentioned earlier on. That was over 2 miles 3, so back to 2 miles today, that shouldn't be a negative. It could be a positive, because he did seem to get tired just on the run in the last day. And yeah, he can improve a wee bit on that run that brings him into it.
Quirt Evans, another one worthy mention, having his second start over hurdles. He's tongue strap on him for first time here this afternoon, but he's some good runs in the feed. He was no match for Eda Hardy Glock, who's gone on and won. That was here at Clonmel. He's gone on, I think he's won twice since,
Over
his last start. But smart horse and all means, and this horse, I'm not saying he's going to win today, but at 10 or 12 to 1 he could be an each way shot if he hands the ground, although he has finished 4th in heavy ground. That was a New Year's Day Tremor.
Yeah, he wasn't beaten that far by Manila Escape. It Gussie Derry and the getaway star in front of him, so that wasn't a bad run. He's wearing a tongue tie today for the first time as well, so that could bring about a wee bit more improvement. And yeah, he's a likely race horse. It's just, as you say, Kevin, it's just a second run over hurdles, and he didn't shape badly on his debut in that Tremor race.
Capadona 11 to 10 now, and to be fair as well, Willie's horse are taking their first run as well. And this year, as you would expect, now was his first run in nearly a year, if not a little over a year, Capadona, when he made his debut here.
Yeah, it was, and it was his first run in Ireland, his first run for Willie Mullins, and the ground was really testing here that day as well, back and trip. And he probably ended up, while he went around the outside, he probably ended up, because of the way the race was run and the way it beat the mountain down the outside, and at least the lady came on his outside as well, he kind of drifted a bit to his right, in towards the centre of the track, in towards the inside rail, probably onto the worst of the ground. So he did well to finish it a close-up third.
We're just hearing Craig Ann Ned has been withdrawn at the start on veterinary advice. He's 100 to 1 shot. Number 2, Craig Ann Ned, has been withdrawn. Don, shouldn't be too much longer. Just coming near post time. Are you in the Capadonia camp, or would you be willing to take him on?
Yeah, it's an interesting race for me, Kevin. It's not really a betting race. Capadona is short, but you can understand why he is short, because it was an encouraging run the last day, and a run on which he can build. I thought Dunboyne ran well as well, finishing. He wasn't that close to Bob Hollinger at all, but he finished nicely clear of the rest of them, and there were horses with potential in behind him, including Inviction and Just O'Brien's. So yeah, I think it could be a good race between the two of them, but it wouldn't be at all surprising if Capadona came out on top.
Just coming up to post time starter. Just getting the horses to walk in, and I think it's time to get up to Peter O'Hare, of course, who was our commentator here this afternoon. Dunboyne's going to be forward, as is our favourite Capadona. Shouldn't be too much longer. Drop him in, there's plenty of experience as well. He's position marker 107. He's having his 5th start over hurdles for local trainer on day. Hugh Morgan on board, taking 5 off. And let's get up to Peter for the call.
White flag race, off and racing, and heading to the first of 9 flights, disputing the early lead. Capadano, Dunboyne, Wasdale Park also close up. Also with them towards the outside is Clarabello, Mallor's Dollar just behind him. Slight mistake at the back by Sarsfield Street. A few lengths detached from the rest of the field, but as they head on the downhill run towards the straight, Wasdale Park with on the inside Capadano, with them is Dunboyne, and they're just a length in front of Clarabello. Mallor's Dollar on the inside of Drop 'em In. To their outer in white and red is Henry Starr as they continue on the approach to the straight field, tightly grouped with Capadano on the inside of Wasdale Park. Dunboyne is a close third. Just behind them, Clarabello, a length off the leading trio, and they're followed by Drop 'em In. Mallor's Dollar around the inside. Just behind them, Kurt Evans with Henry Starr. Behind them, towards the end of the red and white of Grange Island on the inside of Fred Astaire. With them is Inchidaly Copper on the outside of that group, with the quarter cap go all the way just ahead of Sarsfield Street as they continue up the straight, nearing flight number 2, Capadano towards the left in the McManus colours with the white cap. Dunboyne in the centre, Wasdale Park near side, a close 4th over, it was Clarabello. As they continue on to flight number 3 in front of the stands. In the centre, Dunboyne, inside Capadano, near side is Wasdale Park, the leading trio, followed over it by Clarabello, Drop 'em In, Mallor's Dollars on the rail. Kurt Evans next, in the white and red, Henry Starr, followed up past the judge by Go All the Way to the outside of Fred Astaire on the rail. In the hoops, Grange Island, the final pair, Inchidaly Copper and Sarsfield Street. As they head away towards flight number 4, on the side of the course, Capadano on the inside, disputing it with market rival Dunboyne. Wasdale Park remains close up on the outside in third, and they're followed to this flight by Mallor's Dollar and Drop 'em In, Clarabello just behind them. With the white sleeves is Kurt Evans as they turn to head up the far side, 3 flights ahead of them in the back straight. Capadano the inside of Dunboyne, a length away to Wasdale Park, and then Clarabello the outside, Mallor's Dollar the inside in predominantly red colours, Drop 'em In next, and then Kurt Evans. They're followed away from that flight by Henry Starr. Behind Henry Starr, Go All the Way. And then Grange Island, a break of a few lengths to Sarsfield Street, driven along as they jump the next. And then Fred Astaire, and at the back is Inch Daily Copper, made a mistake. Heading on with 3 flights to jump. Heading to the hurl at the top of the hill, and Dunboyne on the outside shares it with Capadano, and they're chased by Wasdale Park, Maller's Dollar. Drop him in just behind them. Behind them is Clarabello. They're on the downhill run, still disputing it. On the inside, Capadano, Mark Walsh alongside Dunboyne, Keith Donoghue. They're chased by Maller's Dollar. Mikey Hamill into third.